Hi, this is Dr. Lâmurülum, also known as Merlyn. Welcome to another episode of Life's Off-Script Sessions. These off-script sessions are from members of the Life community. Join the Life community by subscribing, hit that notification bell so that you can get more content like this. Also, get engaged in commenting in the comment sections below. By doing this, your voice can be heard. Also, share these videos with advanced individuals like yourself so that this new perspective is available for those who wish to awaken, adapt, and thrive in the post-pandemic world. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode. In this one, I'm going to be talking about love. So self-love is key. It's the most important quality in life. I want to encourage you to shine your brightest. Don't dim your light down, because the love that you have been taught to feel for yourself tells you that you're too much or that you're not enough. In this video, I'll be talking about ideas regarding love as they come from left-hand path and right-hand path mindsets. I'm also going to share a realization about how the love that I have for myself was reflective of the love that I received growing up, and how it was related to only loving the ideal parts of me and the parts that were socially acceptable. What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Lâmurülum or Merlyn with Life, and I want to talk today about self-love, the most important form of love in the world, self-love. All the other forms of love are inferior to self-love. If that's hard for you to grasp, I want to do the very best that I can to articulate this in a way that's not too triggering. But this is an off-script session, so I'm going to say some things that will be harsh, they'll be hard to handle. If you can't handle it, share this video with somebody else who can. There are people that I love very dearly, like I really, really love, and there are things that they do that I can't stand. And I realized I have to be egocentric, and I have to say, why does that piss me off? Why does that bother me? What about what they're doing triggers me? What about it just really, really annoys me and upsets me? And I have to be egocentric. I have to think about me. I have to go into me. I have to figure me out. Say, oh, I don't like that about my loved one because I don't like that about me. Or I don't like that about my loved one because I haven't accepted that in me. Maybe I need to love myself a little more. Because what I found is that if I really love myself, if I'm really able to show up for myself fully, then guess what? When someone does something that they do, that's them, that's totally them, that's an expression of who they are, if it bothers me truly, like if it's obnoxious to me, I can literally remove myself from that situation and still love them very deeply. But there's ways to love people and to really accept them when we fully, truly show up for ourselves and love ourselves fully. And that's been my experience. It's hard to have self-love when you come into the world from a right-hand path, altruistic religious basis, because the basis of that is not about cultivating or exercising the different parts of you. It's not about refining the darkness. It's about removing them. It's about getting rid of the parts of you that the collective doesn't appreciate or that others are offended by. And so in this video, I want to encourage you to shine as brightly as you possibly can, not to dim down your light, but to find ways to refine it and to be open to criticism, not because criticism is going to cause you to change your approach, but because criticism only allows you to get feedback on how the other world and how others are perceiving you. Don't dim down who you are. If who you are is too bright for people, they can put on sunglasses or they can look away. Selfhood, if it's just right-hand altruism, abstinence, self-sacrifice, then it's very belittling. It's very limiting. You outsource who you are to the greater reality. But if we incorporate the concept of self-transcendence into this, we understand that my enemies, my neighbors, the people whose feelings that I hurt are all aspects of me. Everything in this world is a reflection of me. And so if I say something that hurts this person's feelings or messes up their day, I can consider the ability that I have to refine my approach so that what I'm saying is not misunderstood. Now, that has a saturation point. because some people are just so broken and so fucked up. And you can say, hi, how are you doing? With a sincere, happy, joyful spirit. And they will think that you're being racist, hurtful, attacking them, and trying to rob them of their money. So if we live our life based on everyone else's limitations, we're not going to go anywhere. And so what I want to say is that self-love is key. It is the center and the core of life. And I want to encourage you to shine your fullest. Self-transcendence is very important. It's a big part of holistic self-love. Self-love that allows you to truly take care of you. Whether it's right-hand path or left-hand path, whatever your life is or your central path, self-transcendence is a big part of self-love in a way that actually has a positive impact on the world around us. Self-transcendence is the concept that I am more than just the collection of cells that I see when I look in the mirror. I am more than this physical body, meaning the relationships that I have, that is a part of me. I am not just this version of me, but I am my enemies. I am my neighbors and friends and family and children and parents and ancestors. We are connected to all of those people and all of those things. I am not only what I see in the mirror, but I am so much more than that. And so that means that if I truly, truly love myself, I take care of me first, then when other people take care of themselves, it's easier to empathize. When other people need room to express and to be, it's really easy to support that because I can say, yeah, I get it. Now, I don't have to put myself in harm's way or sacrifice myself so that person can express, but I can really be present for that person as much as I can in my own realm, as my own self. One of the messages that I got about life and that I got about myself from my childhood and from people that I know loved me was that I love you as long as you don't outshine me, and I love you as long as you don't be you. And that's a terrible message to get. Now, were they sending that message? I don't know, but that's the message I received. Now, they may have loved me with all their hearts if I had shown up 100% as who I am. They may have never stopped loving me. But what I did was I dimmed down. I stopped being my full self. I stopped being my bisexual, flamboyant kind of a self. I stopped being my irreverent, left-hand path, Luciferian type self. I dimmed all that down so that the people that I loved wouldn't stop loving me. And what I did in that sense was for 30 years, I stopped cultivating, I stopped refining, I stopped improving the fullness of who I am and the fullness of what I am. And 30 years later, actually not 30 years later, over those years, those vicious parts of me, those paradoxical parts, those verbose, talkative, shining parts of me would come out. And people would say, oh, could you please dim down because I'm not really comfortable with that. And I would say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm such a bad person. And I would self-criticize. I would self-doubt. I would self-deprecate. I would do all these terrible things to myself that was self-destructive and just allowed the beast to stay in the basement. There is a demon, a monster, and they call it a daemon or a daemon. But there's a genius within us that's expressing itself and showing up through our faults, through our weirdness, through our darkness, through our dirt. And if we can't accept that demon, if we cannot love that monster shrinks down. That monster, that animal, that beast kind of shrinks down. And that beast is here to protect us. That beast is here to enrich us and to support us and to help us to migrate in life when life gets challenging. And so when you make that beast less, when you put him in a cage and you hide him away, he's not able to grow. He's not able to exercise. He's not able to get out to the sun of day. And so he slowly dies little by little. And I'm going to ask you, do you want to die little by little? Do you want the fullness of who you are to be minimized and shrunk down and imprisoned and chained down? Oh, but what if what I say hurts people? What if what I say is offensive? What if what I say gets me in trouble? What if you don't exist inside of you? What if you just got rid of you? What if you just cut off one of your body parts because it offended somebody? Eventually, there's not going to be anything left. So at some point, we have to draw a line. At some point, we have to stop dimming ourselves down. Self-love is key. A lot of this self-deprecating, self-denying, self-criticizing, self-destructive love comes from religion, okay, right-hand path religion, and it comes from a lot of the altruistic, self-sacrificing, collectivist notions. You are just a node in this mindless mass that goes on forever, and so you don't matter. And so that's the idea. And what I'm saying is that no, you do matter. You're the most important thing in the universe, because you're the most important thing in your universe. There absolutely is no other way to experience life than through your own lens. And if you take someone else's view and you allow it to obscure your vision will always be obscured. It'll always be messed up in some way or shape or form. So what I want to encourage you to do is show up fully, to be who you really are, and allow yourself to be refined, allow yourself to grow. Self-transcendence is a very important addition to left-hand path sensibility. Left-hand path is indulgent, it is self-protective, it is rationally selfish, it is pleasure-seeking, it is not hedonistic but indulgent. It is really about being fully engaged in this meat puppet, in this beautiful animal that we call a human being, a human body. I grew up in a very right-hand path world. The problem is that the religion dictated how one would show up in the world. And my parents were really good about giving reason to it. They weren't just like, you do as the Bible says, you do as the church says, and that's it. You don't think about it. They said, okay, this is why, and this is the basis for that. At a certain point, the whys that they provided were not enough for me to continue to comply. I could no longer comply with those whys. And so I had to back out and say, you know what, I have to live fully as me, because guess what? I'm the one breathing through this body. No one else is. Not my parents, not my society. It's just me. And so I have to show up here and live here fully as me. Little by little, I began to learn that my life was based on a lot of things that didn't matter. So if we can learn to refine this meat puppet, as one of my dear friends called it, if we can learn to refine this meat puppet, if we can learn to really tap into the wholeness of what we are and to show up in that beauty, I am convinced and convicted that this world can really flow in a beautiful way. Is there going to be a little bit of shaking in your life if you choose to live fully as you? Yes. Are people not going to like it at times? Yes. Are people going to virtue signal you and say, you know, you should think about the greater good of others and check in with your spirit? And, yeah, people are going to say that. Can you consider those things and continually move forward and be who you really are and shine fully? Yes. Yes, you can consider someone else's opinion. Yes, you can consider other people's point of view. And yes, you can love people in that and say, you know what? I'm too much for them. I shine way too bright for them. I'm going to respect and honor them by just not being around them. I'm going to live fully as who I am, and I'm going to show up fully as who I am, and I'm going to love me. I'm going to love me. Now, loving me doesn't mean that I'm completely oblivious to my faults or my limitations, because that's not self-love either. That's I don't know what that is. That's whatever it is. Okay, that means that when someone presents something to you and says, hey, you know what? When you do this, when you say that, it rubs me this way. You can say, okay, that's how they're feeling. What do I think about that? I do value this relationship. Is it going to kill me to maybe scale this down? Or is it going to kill me to show up in this way? Is it going to take away from the fullness of who I am? Yeah, okay, well then, it's their problem. They got to deal with it. This is who I am. If you don't like it, sorry, you got to move on. But if it doesn't destroy who you are, if it doesn't take away from who you are, then try it out. Try it out for a little while. See what it's like to maybe approach things in a different way. I will tell you a story. You know, I had this really deep shamanic experience, And it was so mind-opening and so encouraging and so uplifting and so empowering and so beautiful. And right after that, one of the facilitators came and shared something with me. It was like they took a 1,000-ton sledgehammer and smashed my chest open. It felt so terrible. It was like, wait, but I was coming from a place of authenticity, and what I learned through that experience was that they were sharing what was showing up for them. I didn't have to comply with their limitation. And the beautiful thing about that experience is that as they shared with me what they shared, I honored it, I appreciated it, and I said thank you, even though it hurt. And I said, you know what, thank you, but I have to wholeheartedly disagree. And I came from a very grounded human place of, yeah, okay, I see why you would see it that way, but this is who I am. And I'm going to upset you, and I'm going to offend you, and I'm probably going to disturb you in the future. But this is who I am, and who I am is good enough for me. So with that said, I want to encourage you to continue to shine brightly. If you're ever in a situation, or maybe you came from a relationship, maybe you grew up in a family where you were loved as long as you weren't there, you were loved as long as all of you wasn't there, then consider exercise those parts of you that may be deemed unlovable. Exercise those parts of you that people reject. Most importantly, exercise those parts of you that you have rejected, that you have put aside, that you will not allow. Does everybody have to like it? No. And that's okay. If what you discovered here resonates with you and you're absolutely ready to take it to the next level, make sure you set up a free one-on-one session to get clarity around your goals and see if the SciLife method is a good fit for you. To set up your free one-on-one session, click the Calendly link in the description of each video and sign up. Once you've completed the session, you'll receive a guided meditation activating your personal power with serenity and mental clarity. The solutions you seek are closer than you think. Advanced beings awakening within humanity are activating the transcendent totality in them. As we create and shape reality for the post-pandemic world, make sure your connection to this power is real for you. If not, you may be absorbed into the mindless mass and swept away as we transition into a world that works. Activate your transcendent selfhood today.